Alright, so here's what I've finished today. I managed to mount the main gear to the pan. That gear is mounted to this large angle piece by 5 Allen bolts in there. It's hard to see them, but it's spaced out quite nicely. This guy here is a bearing, and so is this one on top. They're sandwiched together with this large 5/8 bolt. This whole thing can now spin freely without the gear moving. The reason for that is the motor over here. I just finished the motor mount. This motor is a 12 volt 60 RPM high torque motor, and it will spin itself. This whole unit's upside down, obviously. It will spin itself around this large gear. Wires run to a speed controller, which is then controlled by this receiver, which is run by this remote control right there. So if I just move it like so, it's actually quite hard to move because of the motor has some electricity going to it, and it wants to stall. Doesn't really want to move that much. And if I go like this, you can see how slowly it's moving. Just barely. If I want. My battery's almost dead, that's why it's going so slow. But you get the general idea. Obviously, there will be another motor mount up here, and it will be mounted to that gear just like it is down there. And yeah. And what I really like is how slow it can go. So you can imagine if there was a car pan or something like that. It's just barely moving. And then, oh, and I forgot to mention the entire rig is incredibly sturdy. There is no flex anywhere. This angle piece here, again upside down, so this will be facing up. This angle piece will get mounted to the end of this right here, and this is a suspension arm. This is mounted stationary to the crane. There will be these shocks mounted all along to give it its suspension, just like my prototype. And whenever this rig is mounted in the back of a car, it will absorb any shocks and bumps that the car transfers through the crane to the head. And all of this is mounted directly on it, and then this whole thing is free to do whatever it likes. Free movement. So, and obviously the crane right there. This piece, oh, I should tell you this. This piece right here is replacing this guy right here. This was a source of a lot of wobble. Not terribly good. So that will be replaced with that. And then it'll appear to be pretty much complete. Thanks a bunch.